Lady K.
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Lady K Chat, a podcast that is designed for men and women to become better versions of themselves, which is broadcast every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Various subjects will be spoken upon, such as relationships, health and wellness, personal development, wealth building, children, and so much more. She is a two-time Amazon best-selling author, an international speaker, and life coach. She is Lady K. And now for your host, Lady K.
Okay, so from what I've just, read with self-sabotage, from what, I've done in therapy is a lot of times an individual who engages in self-sabotage, they don't even recognize that they're doing it. Sometimes it can be intentional if a person is, being dishonest and they know I'm being dishonest. But many times, like we said, self-sabotage it goes and it stems all the way back sometimes from childhood. It comes from a place of, hurt, a place of pain, a place of, you rehearsing things over and over again in your mind. Right. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It can go back to from what I said earlier with child abuse, physically abused, sexually abused, bullied, and believing, terrible, negative things that people have said about you. And then you get older and now it disrupts the way you view yourself. You feel like I am undeserving. I am undesirous. I could never accomplish X, Y, Z. What I would encourage a person to do is to really take a look at their actions and their behaviors, but it could be very challenging actually to try to do that work alone. Because a lot of times you don't see it within yourself. Again, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for some. So you're not going to see it. It's going to have to come from your support systems. It's going to have to usually come from a therapist, you going in and really sitting down and processing the root of, your trauma, the root of your challenges. And after being in therapy for some amount of time, you'll begin, to peel back the layers of the onion and learn, oh, the reason that I'm dishonest, the reason that I lash out is because, I never felt like I had a voice when I was a child. And now I feel like I don't have to hold my tongue for anybody. Like, of course, these are just examples, but everybody has something that they've gone through. Everybody has, a trauma that stems from their childhood or a behavior and action that they have to overcome. And again, we never behave a certain way to hurt people. That's usually not our intent. We're subconsciously behaving a certain way, but when it's brought to light, when somebody challenges that thought or that behavior, that's when you start to most times realize, oh my goodness, something is wrong. And many times it's very hard to take a look at the man or the woman in the mirror.
Right.
Seeing yourself, like really seeing yourself.
Dealing with yourself.
Coming to yourself.
Biggest project. You're your biggest project. And Joy, you hit a lot of things on the head. But one thing that I wanted to ad-lib in, this is something a person, I think everyone should practice this, right? So, I think the self-sabotaging comes from you feeling the lack of self-confidence within self, right? So sometimes, like you said, we don't want to face ourselves. I know you're gonna be like, Lady K, really? But yes, I challenge you to get completely naked and look at yourself in the mirror. Don't even say, oh, look at that fat. Oh, look at that stretch mark. Oh, look at them. Oh, don't do anything. I want you to stand there and just look at yourself and just smile and embrace your curves and embrace your stretch marks and embrace your belly. So what? You're not a size 5 no more. So what that your hips spread? See, when you start doing that on a constant basis and just evaluating yourself, you're like, oh,
exactly.
I love me. Let me tell you something, and let me tell you, this is something that's so crazy. I once was bigger than I am now, right? I was in a size 18, and now I went back to my regular size, a size 12. Do you know my confidence was shot through the roof when I was a size 18 because I did the exercise I just told you guys to do. Not even that, then some. And I felt so confident in my skin. So my weight loss had nothing to do that I like, oh, I'm fat. No, I had everything to do with, you know what? All right, Kalima, I don't want to be the size no more. I want to get back to my normal size.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work on yourself. And not even just that, because I missed that person I look to look like. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do it for my health. That was the most important thing. My health was so important. And I took that into
Absolutely.
tap two. And sometimes we have self-sabotaging moments in our health, knowing that we're playing
Absolutely.
a big part of it, but we're doing nothing about it. That's
Mm-hmm.
self-sabotage too. So for sometimes people, we emotional eat, right? So if you feel like you're an emotional eater, and if you could, I never do this about myself. I think it was the first time that I discovered this, but this is not my norm. I think I was having a stressful moment, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized I needed something to soothe me. And I was about to go back, grab a bag of chips, and I said, I don't do this. So sometimes you don't even know that you're doing new things, and we just do it
Exactly.
unconsciously. But if you are that person that self-sabotages yourself by food, and you recognize it, and you say no, just say no to it.
Exactly.
And that's not depriving yourself. That's actually you creating the discipline. So discipline is
Exactly.
very important. And you got to take the baby steps. Now, some people, they have the willpower just to do something, just cut themselves off from certain things. And then some people actually need the baby steps. But you got to ask yourself, what's going to work with me? Because perfect example, right? As far as I said, I wanted to do the transition to lose the weight. I
Yes.
was intentional about it. I had made up my mind, this is what I want. I went on a fast, and the thing was to not eat meat no more. I wanted to transition to the pescatarian lifestyle. I don't say diet, because when you say diet, people already, oh, I got to restrict myself. So it's a lifestyle. So when I was ready to
Exactly.
transform myself, I went on a fast. And I kid you not, everyone, and I kid you not, Joy, when I came off that fast, I had no desire for meat. So some people
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, you gotta do it step by step. I want cold turkey. Cold turkey, I have now made my 2-year anniversary, going from a size 18 to a
Congrats.
size 12.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Lady K.
Thank you. So I'm sharing that because I want to give encouragement to someone, to let somebody know, listen, I wasn't this person that you think I've always been. I was one time mute. I was sometimes self-conscious, and I was like very hesitant about certain things. But look, I was able to make the transformation, and it takes time, but it starts here first. So, and I'm
Yes.
sorry, that's one big thing I forgot to mention in the beginning as we're transitioning. You got to make up in your mind that you made a decision once you are in
Exactly.
awareness, because in order for you to identify, you got to be in awareness. You got to make a decision. I have to start making some changes in my life.
Exactly. That's
I,
really
I
good.
have to stop taking my anger out on my kids. And sometimes your kids are looking at you crazy because you look crazy. I just gotta say that.
Absolutely.
Moms, I just gotta intercept real quick. Moms, stop yelling at your kids. Because let me tell you, sometimes too, as you're doing that, right? And let's say you're doing this throughout their whole childhood, because they saw that repetitive act, they might take on the self-sabotaging mentality.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Absolutely.
realize a lot of times, like you said, Joy, a lot of stuff stem from childhood. So I'm here to tell you, because I did a show about this, I think maybe a week or two ago, and how we have to identify some of our habits, and that we're pressing it on our in our household. So stop sabotaging yourself, because you might actually put that on your kids, and then they're going to
Absolutely.
have that constant battle.
It's almost like a learned behavior.
It is a
You
learned
do what you
behavior.
learn, you learn what you live. If
Right.
that's what's modeled to you, it becomes your norm. You exhibit those behaviors, you use those problem solving skills, and you use that in your day-to-day, your day-to-day routine. You hear
Right.
mom and dad screaming, you hear mom and dad cursing, you recognize that mom and dad engage in the silent treatment and they don't talk for several weeks when they get into fights. That's
Right.
what you begin to utilize as your coping skills. And you'll say, "Up, I got mad at the person." Instead of saying, "I'm going to take time to cool down, let me go
Right.
back and talk to them later and express myself and communicate appropriately and effectively," I'm going to shut down and I'm not going to talk to you for 2 weeks, or I'm going to blow up on you,
Right.
curse at you, or whatever it is. A lot of that is just like you said, it's learned behaviors.
Right.
And
And then
it stems from being, from the childhood.
right. And then like you said, because it's a learned behavior, you can unlearn it and do something different. But I gotta tell you this, it doesn't happen overnight, is you have to put it into practice. That's how we get better. We get better by putting things into practice. So to help you transition to stop doing stuff like that, put things into practice. Maybe replace something else. Like if you know you got short temper and something might get on your nerves from 1 to Z real quick, won't you just maybe stop and meditate?
Absolutely.
Create better habits. And I don't know if everyone's familiar, but it takes 21 consistent days to create a new habit. So if you want to
Absolutely.
break your old one, what is something new to you? Or you can say, maybe I might need to pick up a hobby, or maybe I need to watch something educational, whatever it looks like for you. Do something different, step out the box. And I already know sometimes stepping out the box, that requires change, and change hurt. And, it takes effort.
Absolutely. I wanted to pull from something earlier that you had mentioned, that you made a very interesting example when you said that you challenge anybody to basically, get naked in front of the mirror and not judge themselves. It's all about a mindset.
Yes.
What do we tell ourselves in our mind? So you grow up and maybe you have low self-esteem, you have negative thought patterns constantly in your mind. The one thing I really love to do is a lot of, with all of my clients, but I specifically do it a lot with my clients that struggle with self-esteem, or my youth in general, ranging from, like the smaller children, even up to like college age students, is creating those lists of positive self-affirmations, taking those negative thought patterns that may pop into your head, and every time it pops up, you have to challenge it with one or two positive thought patterns. Maybe the thought comes to mind that somebody told you from the time you were a child is, "You're ugly, you're undesirable, nobody loves you." You challenge it with, "No, I am desirable, I am lovable, I am intelligent, I am caring, I am," and you replace it with something positive. And then you take it a step further, and maybe you identify a reason for why somebody may have told you that you were this positive thing, and you just
Right.
keep repeating it over and over and over again. And eventually, as your mindset begins to shift, your emotions will begin to shift. Go from this place of perhaps being depressed or anxious or feeling, really poorly about yourself, to slowly feeling a bit more confident.
Absolutely. And Joy, you hit it right on the head when you said the affirmation. And I'm going to say this because people might not even realize this, right? So I know it's in the book of Exodus, right? And this is where was Moses had his encounter with God when he's at the consuming father. And he said, "Who?" He said, "I am the I am." And I'm saying that to you because you can put that in front of whatever you believe. You can say, "So
That's
I
true.
am beautiful. I am X, Y, and Z," because guess what? God resides in you. Those are for people who are
That's so
on
true.
that spiritual level, who have that connection, who have that relation with God. You hold tight to those things. And also, too, here's a big factor that I want to say to you. When you are ready to self-sabotaging yourself, and you're ready to make some changes, and if, like I said, if you do have a relationship, you're going to have to depend on God. Every time you feel you want to fall through the cracks, or even this, right, before you even started, you can say, "I need to go on the fast." And that's okay.
Absolutely.
Because I already shared you my story going on this fast. I said, "God," I said, "I really want this. I really wanted it. I was ready." And for me to not have no desire for meat, I thought that was bananas. Still 2 years later, I have no desire for meat. So again, I think you haven't established in that relationship. That might make your relationship stronger. And also, you have to know some people are not going to always be around all the time. So when those people are not around, and that's what also said in the word too, your friends not always going to be around. Your friends not always going to be around. Everybody
That's
got
true.
lives, and sometimes nobody want to hear your cry. You have to take that cry to your Father, because He
That's very
knows
true.
your heart. He examines your heart, and people might misconstrue and misunderstand you, but He knows exactly what you need in your cry.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just pulling
it to Him.
just pulling from what you mentioned earlier, I love how you kind of brought, being a follower of Christ into it, looking at it from, from that spiritual perspective. Is any time when you'd have a negative thought come to mind, you could view it from the perspective of, if God were in the room with me, is this what my Father would say to me? Would He
Right.
tell me X, Y, Z? If it doesn't align with His word or what He would say to you or about you, then you immediately know, let me cast that down. That's not even something I should be entertaining, in my mind. You don't want to allow that negative thought, for lack of a better phrase, to take a seat at the table with you, and you don't want to allow it to brew. And now you're having a conversation with it. You're welcoming it in. You want to immediately just cast it down.
Right, exactly. So all of that matters. I hope this is really hitting home for a lot of people. We have to go shortly, but Joy, is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience with about, how to overcome self-sabotaging?
What I would say about, self-sabotage is, again, unfortunately, a lot of us do it subconsciously, but just always reminding yourself to be gentle with yourself, be gentle in your growth process, knowing that, okay, change does not happen overnight.
Right.
Change isn't perfect. One minute you may feel good, the next minute you may really be feeling, down and poorly about yourself, but just being consistent. Just like Lady K said, it takes 21 days to create, a habit or a new pattern. Be consistent. Continue, every single day saying, I am not going to do X, Y, Z, but I am going to do something that adds to your life. Maybe that self-sabotaging behavior may have been, not getting yourself together in enough time to, I don't know, to make it to work or to make it to school, or, not taking that necessary step in your career, or not telling your teacher that you're really struggling in your math class and you keep failing all of your tests. And the teacher doesn't know what's going on. They're thinking maybe they're not studying, maybe they don't care. No matter how big or how small it is, just being consistent and trying and continuing to challenge those negative thought patterns with positive thought patterns and with positive actions. But above everything, I know I'm a mental health therapist, so I would definitely encourage everybody to go to therapy. I know there's this huge misconception, unfortunately, not so much nowadays, but definitely years ago, that people would say that people that go to therapy are crazy. People who go to
Right.
therapy are not
Or you're
crazy.
telling your business.
Exactly. Therapy is not about anybody being crazy. Therapy is about getting down to the roots of your challenges, of your issues. Sometimes people go in because they are going through something like a big life change. It could be grief, it could be trauma, it could be anxiety, it could be depression. It could be you just want somebody to be a sounding board for you, and you want it to be somebody who's professional, who has worked in the field for X amount of years, and that they're able to really just sit with you and help you to process your thoughts and your feelings. It's very hard to go through and navigate through life if you don't know about yourself. And there's so many times when we think we know ourselves, like Lady K said, but we really don't know ourselves. But in therapy, you really get down to the root of who you are, why you do the things you do, why you behave the way that you behave, what triggers you have, and healthy ways to help you to cope and to navigate life, as I mentioned earlier. So that's kind of what I would leave you all with.
Right. And I appreciate you that, Joy. So are you on any social media, Joy? Are you on Instagram?
You know what? I am on social media as of right now. As silly as it may sound, my pages are all private right now.
Oh, okay.
But in the near future, I hope to be able to share with you all some things that I'll be working on that will become
Okay.
public.
Okay, awesome. Because I was going to say, if the people wanted to get in contact with you, how can they reach you? So
Goodness.
coming
Okay.
soon?
Okay, so you know what I would say? If an individual does want to reach out to me, the easiest way to directly get in contact with me would be to reach out to me on Psychology Today. You have the opportunity of making a direct phone call, or you could email me. Typically, I know that platform is utilized for therapy, but that honestly is the best way to reach me. And then once I've created more and I'm more out there in social media, I'll definitely release that to the public. But like I said, there's some interesting things to come with me in 2022.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to enjoy everything that you provided tonight was very helpful. So I personally thank you. I just want to say one thing too. I know we said about speaking affirmations to yourself.
Yes.
I'm gonna give one task and then I'm gonna let y'all go because y'all probably saying, Lady Cat, what else you want me to do? Just one more thing. Y'all ready? I want this one last thing. What I want you to do is those affirmations that you are reading, I want you to write it down and post stickies all throughout your house. Maybe in your bedroom wall, maybe in your bathroom. So when you're walking around and you see all these affirmations, it's a reminder. So I have to tell people this. My mentor told me a long time ago that a short pen beats a long-term memory, because we think we have a long-term memory, but we really don't. But when you take the opportunity to look at things, it's a constant reminder, and we need constant reminders every day. We are battling in this crazy world, and on top of that, we are battling this deadly virus, and this is hard for everyone. The numbers are increasing, anxieties are through the roof, and people don't know what to do. They're scared, and they have to challenge, wait, do I put my child in school or do I not go to work? That is very hard. You know what I'm saying? So these life experiences that's coming at us right now, they can be a trigger to why we're doing the things we are doing to ourselves. But I am here to let you know today, you have help. You are not by yourself. And I thank you for tuning in. Continue to tune in, because you know what? For the rest of 2022, I'm going to be talking and zoning more in about some of the things that we do that contribute to our mental health, because it starts there. If we want to have a healthy mental health, we have to start identifying some things. So everyone, I want you to put in the comment what you learned from today. Was it helpful? Please tell me something, because I want to hear from you. But I thank you for joining me tonight, and then join me again next Tuesday here, 6 p.m. at the Lady K Chat podcast here on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And I will see you guys next time. And remember to visit our website at www.ladykenterprisesinc.com. And I have to let you know one more thing. Tonight's show was sponsored by Lady K Enterprises. We are a financial service firm where we can help you anywhere from starting a business to expanding your business, meaning hiring a team to get in life insurance. And with that being said, good night. Lady K.